All right, this is going to fall under the files of, okay. Is there a secret city being built? So a former Bush official, Kathleen Austin Fitz, claims the U.S. built secret $21 trillion underground cities for the rich and powerful to live in a near extinction event. Now, this is the United States government we're talking about here, folks. So there's a lot of aspects here, and I'm going to respect everybody's opinion. But hear me out, because there's a couple of roads we're looking at. This is the United States government. Can they effectively and properly build an underground city? Well, with the trillions of dollars we're able to waste in wars, the answer is yes. Number two, can they keep something like that secret? The answer is probably no. Or either that, it's probably going to be of piss poor quality. Number two, maybe she's on the crazy pills. Or number three, we talked about on the show how the rich and powerful have built underground bomb shelters and sanctuaries. You have Zuckerberg, who built his underground bunker in Hawaii, which is the last place I would want to build an underground bunker because, Hawaii being a beautiful state, and huge shout out to our wonderful viewing audience members from the great state of Hawaii. They have a thing called volcanoes. Does Zuckerberg want to be cooked alive? I mean, who knows? Who knows? Maybe he built it in a spot where the lava doesn't go. Maybe. But then again, that's just wishful thinking. But this happened on Tucker Carlson's show, and I think it's important that we do address it just a little bit.
But I think that whether it's a pole shift, magnetic pole shift is one of the, theories of what causes these events. But there is a history of near extinction events. And one of the things that I've looked at, because I'm trying to figure out, between fiscal 1998 and fiscal 2015, there were 21 trillion of undocumentable adjustments in the U.S. government. If you go to our website, missingmoney.solera.com, we have years and years of documentation, including the government financials that show this. And so the question is, where's all this money going? And one of the things I've looked at in the process of looking at where all this money is going is the underground base and city infrastructure and transportation system that's been built. And
I'm sorry?
Yes. So we have built an extraordinary number of underground bases and supposedly transportation systems. Some of these are some of these are documented as part of the national security infrastructure. I think there are many more. So
in the United States?
In the United States, on all over the world. But from 2021 to 2023, I took one of the smartest subscribers in the Solera Report network, and he and I spent 2 years collecting all the data and all the allegations on underground bases. And then we systematically went through and tried to estimate our guess. This is totally a guess of how many underground bases, both underground in the United States, but also underground under the ocean around the United States. And our estimate was 170.
All right. That's a high number. I wanted to wait to get there. That's 170 underground cities. Now, when she's talking about underground cities, I'm not imagining like a huge bunker where there's or is it a huge dome underground where there's skyscrapers? I mean, okay, what it could be is a leveled area, floor after floor underground. Now, we do know that there are a lot of underground bunkers, especially during the height of the Cold War between the United States and Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, the Soviet Union, woogie boogie boogie. They had their backup plans in case should war escalate between the U.S. and the Soviets, that our politicians and generals and people of influence would be able to still carry on the fight, but underground. So yes, there has been construction of these bunkers, but I think when we call them cities, what exactly are you saying? How exactly are you hyping this up? Because we need a little bit more evidence about the vastness of these cities. I'm not saying that it can't not be done, but you're saying now there's 171 cities. So when you're talking about cities, how self-sufficient are these cities? What are they exactly, and who gets to live in these cities, and why?
With a transportation network connecting them.
And what would be the purpose?
the purpose, if you thought you were going to get a near extinction event, so there, to me, there are two purposes. You have so many activities going on that you need to keep secret, that you're basically building the capacity to, for example, if you're doing a secret space program, you need to platform it from.
Now, here's the thing. If I can get her on the show, my answer is yes, Dr. Nick. I'm seeing him in the chat. And what is underground at Denver airport? Yeah. I mean, look, there's a lot of mysteries out there, especially with the construction of a lot of these underground bunkers. I mean, we do know the United States invested heavily in underground bunkers to combat a potential nuclear conflict between the U.S. and the Soviet Union. I would not be surprised. We do have the potential of facing many near extinction events, not only with weapons of mass destruction where we vaporize our cities, but there's also the aspect of Mother Nature herself. You know, not to cause panic with the audience, but we do have that wonderful little super volcano at Yellowstone that, should it ever decide to pop, well, a good portion of us on the West Coast, Rocky Mountain area, and yes, even good old Chicago, we're done for. And I hope, to see you guys in another life. But yes, that is a other major extinction event. Should that happen, it will cause such severe damage and trauma to our environment and ecosystem that it would be just as bad as a devastating global conflict between nations. There's also the idea of, again, dealing with a solar flare that could disrupt all electronics here in the United States and worldwide, thus causing a potential new dark age. And hey, living like Mad Max or an asteroid, something of that nature.
Things that can't be seen. But I think if you're worried about a near extinction event, that's.
So I know nothing about this other than my only window into it. I knew a contractor who worked on one in Washington, in the city of Washington, D.C.
Right.
And I remember him telling me about a power box, like a transformer box on Constitution Avenue that he told me, because he worked on it personally, was actually the exit, the egress from White House. That was kind of by vehicle. I thought that was, I was like, really? He goes, oh yeah, no, I installed it. I know. And I thought, well, that's kind of crazy that in the middle of this big city where I live, I was on Constitution Avenue every day, that you could build something like that without me knowing it. Under the VP's house at the Naval Observatory, same thing. I think most people know that. Next to my brother's house on Macomb Street in DC.
So
but I always thought that was like preparation for nuclear war. Like, I didn't really think about it that much.
Some of it is, yeah. It's preparation for catastrophe.
So, but you think that there are facilities like that in other places outside DC?
Oh, yeah. So if you're interested, we have a great interview. I did an interview of Richard Dolan on underground bases on the Solari Report, and it's sort of an introduction to the topic, and it's based on a lot of the research of a guy named Richard Sauter, who is very hard to interview. So Richard kind of went through all the material, and clearly it's. I don't know if you ever saw, Washington Post did a project. It was in 2010 or 12 called Top Secret America. And one of the reporters, it was a team of 2 reporters, one of them put together a database of all the different top secret installations that had been built in the country, including since the Patriot Act. And what you saw was just this explosion of money in building so many, both underground and above ground facilities.
Now, I also want to pull this up here. So this woman, again, I want to make sure I got her name right. Catherine Austin Fitz. She served as Assistant Secretary of Housing and Urban Development under George H.W. Bush from 1989 to 1990. Claimed $21 trillion in taxpayer dollars were funneled into the project between 1998 and 2015. A lot was going on between those years. A lot. Not to mention an earth-shattering event that would lead the United States to be in a forever war in the year 2001. She provided no evidence of her claims, but said a 2017 report from Michigan State University economist Mark Skidmore indicated that much unauthorized spending had been uncovered across the Departments of Defense and Housing and Urban Development during that time. After 2 years of combing through records related to already documented underground military bases, Fitz says she also looked into allegations of a wider bunker network. Comparing her research against the missing cache, Fitz said she was able to make a guess about how many facilities there are. She claimed the 170 only applied to bases on U.S. soil around its coastline, alleging that more exist across the world, and bases are connected by an elaborate transportation system. She added, while claiming they are powered by a secret energy system known only to the military. I'm convinced that this energy exists. If you look at a lot of the really fast ships flying around the planet, they're not using classical electricity. Classical electricity. Ooh la la! Say that 3 times fast. She said in apparent reference to the spate of bizarre, unidentified aerial phenomenon supposedly flying around the skies in recent years. Those alleged bases are used not just as doomsday bunkers for the elites, Fitz claimed, but also as places for the government to operate secret operations like a secret space program. The existence of elaborate underground government bases and bunkers is no secret. During the Cold War, the Cheney Mountain Complex was built inside a Colorado mountain to serve as a hardened base of operations for various military operations. It is currently used by the U.S. Space Force. And from the 1950s through the 1990s, a bunker intended to house all of Congress in the event of a calamity was built and operated in total secrecy beneath the bustling Green Bear Resort in West Virginia. Fitz, who worked as an investment banker before joining the Bush administration, also floated a number of other outlandish ideas while speaking with Carlson, including that the COVID-19 vaccine had DNA modifying ingredients. Oh my goodness. And that a shadow global cabal is trying to use mind control to enslave the world, according to the Daily Mail. You know, I'm not going to deny that something like this is possible. I mean, is it as drastic as what it's being reported on? No. But I will say that it wouldn't surprise me if our government invested in building underground bunkers in cities or underground facilities that are near the ocean or so much more. Heaven forbid that we decide to live like the people in Rapture. If you understood the BioShock reference, I love you. But the problem is, and the issue is that why build all of this? Why all the secrecy? Why build all of it? It's probably for control. I mean, we do know that the government has conducted experiments on groups of people, Native Americans, Black people, women. We've all been subjected to many programs that we did not consent to. So when you look at control and what can be put upon people, I'm not going to dismiss it. Because we've seen how corporate media tries to control a narrative. We see how corporate media, who follows the orders of those who control the media, control our politicians, dictate things over us. It's all about control and power. It's all about influence. Now, the thing is, I do believe in healthy criticism, at least for a little bit. Now, this is from Fox News. Why not? Why not? From our friends at Fox News. You know, Tucker Carlson's old place of employment. Let's pull this up here.
Tonight in WTF, former George H.W. Bush administration official Catherine Fitz claims that the government has secretly spent $21 trillion between 1998 and 2015 building underground cities in the event of an apocalypse. Jamie, why aren't there pictures of this? Do you buy this?
Yeah, I think the government's probably lying to us, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like they have so many people. Because like I lie. Like my son the other day, he wanted to go on a bike ride, and I told him that the outdoors closed at 7. And so I feel like the government is probably lying, right? Like, and by the way, I am no stranger to having somebody take all my money and build a secret home that I'm not invited to. I kind of believe it, Greg. And if they're all down there, we should, all these wealthy, crazy people underwater. Maybe we crack a window.
Paul, she didn't provide any evidence to back up her claims, but a study from 2017 showed there was, quote, unauthorized spending during the time of the supposed construction.
So that's the proof that
Yes.
the government had unauthorized spending. Yeah, I get it. Okay. 170 cities underground. Let's just go through the roster here. Okay. Chicago, New York, Philadelphia, Seattle, Memphis. We can't run our cities that are on top of the ground.
Yes.
We're supposed to believe that this government somehow managed to silently build 170 underground cities and connect them all by transportation, by the way, with a secret means of energy. Did you miss that part?
Yes.
Yeah, there's this secret like kryptonite somehow that they discovered that they're keeping all from us, and it's all underground so that George Soros could go down there. Got to call BS on this story. It's preposterous.
Now, I'm not going to call BS on this story. I won't. I think there is some veracity and truth to it. Is the number high for 170 underground cities? I think when we hear the word city, I think we're thinking like a massive metropolis underground. No, I'm thinking more of a connected network of bunkers that can possibly, yes, have maybe a rail line from one bunker to another in a different state. Yes, that can. Could it be done? Is it feasible? Well, look at all the things that we have built in currently now. Yes, something like that can be done. But I also view this little sit down that happened on Fox News as a simple way of, oh, yeah, isn't that hilarious? The government built underground cities. Let's laugh and mock at the person talking about it. No, I'm going to actually take it very seriously. Like, okay, fine. Yeah, the government has built underground cities. Okay. There's been a lot of coincidence and things that have been brought to light. And when you look at many of these shadow operations that were covered up by the FBI or CIA, we have to challenge everything. I mean, never ask the CIA and its connections with El Chapo. I mean, how many times has the FBI done some terrible things? How many times has our government lied to us? Oh, there's weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. Oh, Russiagate, it's a terrible thing. We got to censor and suppress. We've been lied to before. And, not to make all of you panic, but remember, when we talked about 9/11, and I mentioned the spin-off show from the X-Files, especially there was a show called The Lone Gunman. Do you know what the first episode was? And not to mention, that TV show aired in 2001, I believe in March of 2001, The Lone Gunman, a spin-off from the X-Files. The first episode, you know what? Better yet, I'm going to show it to you guys myself, because I'm not going to press X to doubt for underground cities. I'm not going to view them as these major structures, but I think perhaps if they hold maybe 1,000, 2,000 people, okay, you could call that an underground city if you want. Let's just pull this up here. It was a TV show called The Lone Gunman, spinoff from the X-Files. They were friends to Agent Mulder, and I just want to pull this up here. Yes, it's from Wikipedia. The episode is titled Pilot. Came out on March 4th, 2001. While the lone gunmen are thwarted in their attempt to steal a computer chip, Byers receives news of his father's death, and the trio soon find themselves unraveling a government conspiracy concerning an attempt to fly a commercial aircraft into the World Trade Center, with increased arms sales for the United States as an intended result. What could possibly go wrong? So no, folks, this is very possible. Very possible indeed.